Hey, hip
What it
hop
is.
citizens, what's up, yo? Welcome to the ProQuo Show.
Welcome to the ProQuo Show and welcome to some final fire. I think we're gonna have to think we're gonna
Woo.
hit them with that right out the gate. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too, man. That's a good thing right there. We do have Instant Brotherhood up on the screen, but Final Fire works just as good.
Yo, Instant Brotherhood is the whole thing though. They don't even know. You know what I mean?
Instant Brotherhood, they
Tell
they
them about
they
that.
might have a little grip. We have I posted, if you guys didn't see, go to the check out the pages, but you'll see the whiteboard with
Mm,
all the work, all the
work
beautiful
has been
people
put in.
involved. Yes, the
Speaking of
worldwide production.
speaking of that work, I just gotta make sure everybody. And first of all, hello to everybody. It's a new week. I
Yes.
know it's crazy. It's been a crazy
15
crazy
days
week in the
in.
world.
Who
What do you
just had a
say?
birthday? I said
Oh
15
yeah, yeah,
days in, and
yeah.
just who just had a birthday?
Yeah.
5 days ago.
I snuck one in there. You were there for the Zoom online celebration. That's pretty cool.
That was beautiful, man. That was
Capricorns,
really cool.
Capricorns are it's our time right now. I'm throwing you in there like our, but I mean Capricorns in general.
I'm a
It is
Taurus.
our time. It's crazy, man. It's been a crazy week. Yeah, for me, I mean personally, of course,
Mm,
having a birthday, that's always a thing. But man, it was what was going on in the rest of the world that was really, whew, I was just like, what are we
a lot
doing
of
here?
things.
Yeah, man, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get yo. We got a crazy. Speaking of crazy world, we got a crazy hype guest. We got a longtime friend, Nomadic, is gonna be in the show tonight. She's from Boston. For y'all who don't know, she does everything, yo. Just in terms of like a plug for Nomadic before she gets on here. Nomadic, I mean, she'll go by DJ Nomadic because of course she's a DJ. She DJs shows, radio shows, live events, stuff like that. We first met. Actually, I'm gonna ask her how we first met because we gotta make sure our stories are all synced because I'm not 100% sure, but I think I know I know where I'll check up with her on that. But
Hmm.
she's been a radio DJ for years. Started at WERS. She's dancing. She's just the dancer. She'd be at the clubs dancing, kind of a hip hop house kind of head, and just an event promoter. She's been doing events for years and literally has a fingerprint like all over Boston hip hop for years now. This isn't somebody who's just jumping into the fray or whatever. Not that
Yeah.
not that that's ever a bad thing, but I'm excited to
She
have her on
helped,
the show.
yo, in all honesty, she helped raise me. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? Because you think about me being in high school and actually, like a freshman in high school, and I'm
word.
hitting recording the play on the tape deck, getting them 88.9 sessions in.
Mm,
And if it wasn't for the voice of her and the 88.9 Emerson radio spinning those underground hits, man, what would Cruise
absolutely,
be? I
absolutely.
might
No,
not exist.
I'm telling you, it's
It's
sad
crazy.
times at that station not bumping hip hop these days
For
for a
real.
lot of
I
people.
almost I shed a couple tears when I heard about that. I was like, what?
Yeah. Well, yo,
What?
let's speaking of Shed a Tear, let's try to get into his music. Let's get into his
Hmm.
music. Let people know who we are, what we're doing, and then we'll jump full back into it. We'll do a little prelude into our guests and the topics we're gonna touch tonight, and then
Hmm.
we're gonna run it. All right,
Yeah, for
let's do
sure,
it.
man. So let's play that.
Yeah, yeah. What up, Vegas?
What up, Boston,
Yeah.
Mass?
What up, Amsterdam?
So tired of Spotify.
Yeah. Look. Immaculately crafted in these halls, hieroglyphs. Born and translated, the vocabulary's obvious. Throw your arms later when the beats is the catalyst. Mind the word labor, retrace back to Avalis. Got the old hater buying back in my establishment. Lit the torch, May 21st, 2020. Bagging up your purse, cause I hearse with a chariot. No dirt for my Harriet, it hurts so I tally it. Finite things off the cross when I carry it. Primo suits in the booth, then I marry it. Kilos coupe for a keynote activist. Trolls in the feeds, hide them, you test the accurate. You weak off the words, I take them to inhabitants. The front line with me, red dots on contaminants. Quotables over punchlines, call the ambulance. Atmosphere bright,
Yeah.
nigga shit off the ambulance.
The hands and wrists stay lit with the amethyst. Been dripping the ambiance from the sconces with the candles lit. I cancel riffs real quick like a hammer click. My mans and them come dumping a couple cans upon your canvases. Box cutters coming out, we're doing the candlestick. Been winning the competition since before the Drake had heritage. My fame is leverage, obtain all the extras. One extra still remains all except for the vain expletives. I spit flames like your drain your main beverage. Skill level obtained and trained, your brain will hemorrhage. Just my average is so far from your maximum. Subtract them, even my math skills can't even fathom them. Difference between us is steep as elite geniuses. Trying to teach some cavemen to read what my recent thesis is. All of my drip, you should feed it through intravenous's. And watch these hip-hoppers come back to life with the weaknesses.
Yeah. We do that behind the scenes, man. Behind the scenes, you know, and you were trying to tell me, you were like, yo, you got the wrong one up there. And I was like, yeah. But I had it all switched in my head. But I was like, you guys were hearing the behind the scenes, me playing with my vocals on the mix there. It's like, I wasn't happy with it. So like, we in the process. And as Jay was telling you, man, we got a lot of tracks on deck. When you see that picture that Jay has with the, with that whiteboard. So we'll give him a
and shout out to Larcy Vegas from Amsterdam for producing that beautiful piece of work to let us paint on. That's my brother from another mother as well, and he did his thing on that. Woo.
Instant Brotherhood. Let's give him a taste of that, because that's
Instant Brotherhood. That right there now. Come on now, Instant Brotherhood. By the way, this produced by Mitchell Drix from Amsterdam as well, or the Netherlands as well, and Preet Rosso Beats. Shout out to Mitchell Drix, Jordy Simmons, that whole clique.
You know what? You're gonna have to keep doing these shout outs, because I'm gonna give them like 10 seconds of a few beats. Check this out. Remnants first. Who made Remnants?
Remnants is Larcy as well.
All right, let him hear Larcy for a sec. Here we go.
Yeah, Larcy, yo.
Yeah. Quo.
Yeah.
Pro.
Yeah. ProQuo, welcome to the sanctuary. Catch praise, we the honorary. Blessed days, had enough of them malevolent. And life's made search hard for what I represent. Might have been 5, still ride till I die. And I turn into reminisce from my culture, from my culture. Sing it. Just to see my daughter smile.
Little smile, right?
Disciples of the ancestors. Yeah, I base my whole life around this. We on that grown man music. And for real though, ain't no price around this. Real talk. Let me see that high fist though. Yeah. Cruise. Look. To shine eternal in the journal is the bigger goal. Retire early possibilities, we grinding so you never know. Thoughts of having moms go to Florida anytime it's snow. Encapsulated in these vibrations, life's domination. Not saying that I'm better than you, it's all patience. Understand you either grow or go. In that world, yourself is lacing. Jump in with jump balls, real good with calculation. Pumping my whole eternal, turning off the moderation.
A little heat praise,
yeah. ProQuo, baby. Yeah. Let's skip the pleasantries. I'm more about that action is the remedy. To me, that's that heavenly blessing. I question everything with faith that it will work out. I work so mentally, cause deities to me have never been really about that equity. Create my destiny, watch the world open sesame. Since y'all been watching Sesame Street on beats obsessively, professing these gems in the streets before my specialty. Spitting mathematics in class, my rap is therapy.
A little Saint song.
Is a song for the Saints.
Who made this one? Pro.
It's Audio Mercy.
Quo.
Saint song.
You'll make up for your sins in the church.
Yeah. This intro is ridiculous.
You do it at
Verse
home.
here is insane.
The rest is bullshit and you know it.
Woo! Damn. Yeah. Here's a song for the Saints.
Yeah.
Woo! Damn. Here's the bomb, catch the weight. Before we ever thought about popping, we had to learn something about Compton. New York vibes, riding apple, no joshing. I see an equal and we betting on the auction. The finer things in front of things is in my doctrine. Rain, night, or day, I put it up cause I'm a marksman. The city rhyming that scheme. Boondocks making coffins. Blind to your dreams cause you X without the crossings. You getting murdered on these scenes cause we praying with these orphans. Parentless children, I'm an idol, what we talking. Cruise like a throwback that the youth are supporting. Fuse blown, sue that. What it's costing, they ways get gays. Probably call up on the coffins. Lounging in the Ville, contemplating with the profits. Bouncing with some drills, balance it over the markets. Counting up the bills, making deals is how you rock it. Juice world gone, fuck the pills, we a target. Woo! Damn. Here's a song for the Saints. Woo! the bomb, catch the weight.
Way that I spit jogging, sick like I've been starving. Master the craft, this is that way on some thin jarring. I've been starving on tracks, you're binge watching. Hard to find, been on my grind as I'm Bin Laden. Underground legend, got stats, I'm Jim Harden. Your chin's glass, get in that gym or you'll get guarded. No slim fast, I rip tracks, kill regardless. No quick fast, I'm long range on my target. Market in the margin of victory so large that you can sense the coming of the God like a magi. Baptize y'all, flow swift like a magpie. Redline your track to the NS, that alewife. Pro have you fix that in real life and artists. These click track rappers get click clacked in the carpet. Red letters littered Johansson, I'm over Boston and scarlet like the Bible whenever the God's talking.
Woo! Damn. Here's a song for the States. Woo!
I just had to let that run. I just
man, you bodied that.
The new bad. I mean, it's just
Mental
Dricks and Larson together.
Chapter 2.
we're not even playing fast.
It's new back. Every line related to where I come from. We collaborate across the nation. Wrote some lyrics, let them marinate. They say it's fornication. They heart defeats a lot that might just lead to domination. I left the greed by the parking lot. I'm on this train racing. Got some beats that took me over. Now it's migration. The title's new back, cause the trap lanes all taken. I've been patient, got the features and I'm still chasing. Met some like minds, create a brotherhood. Now we all adjacent. The war paths in the past. Got my daughter in the bath. I work harder, nothing's trash. I want college as an option, that's math. All basics, don't wanna switch faces. It's 100, all me, never wanna trade places. If it's first or it's last, I'll always cuff these vibrations. It's new back.
ProQuo, baby.
It's new back.
Whenever I throw down the pronoun, these days it's pro now. My ascension from these lows well known, that's my hometown. Born as Peter Michael Floor, before the teacher was more of a blue collar worker. For that paper boy, I'd sweep the floor. Was seeking more, started teaching on my first tour. Word to something different, somewhat shallow, but I applaud. See what you're missing? Something different than them dancers' names. Shout out to Cheeky Tron and Shadow, that's my homie Dave. We played New England school, sure we had a single cool, but never knew what we really have is the ear of the youth. Was wearing the truth on my sleeve like some fashion statement. My style was boom backpack, new jack, aspirations, motivational speaker. I'm thinking teacher now. Finished college, rockin' Smith College. I'm with the teacher now. Let's take a rest, that blueprint for that boom bap. Now I'm that professor they call pro on that new bad.
Another one.
What's your tiger doing? Tiger's beautiful. Tiger's beautiful. Something jumping in like that. You got your daughter.
Can't handle it.
Yeah, she's jumping in that brotherhood.
Yo, what's up?
What it is.
Instant brotherhood.
You already know.
People stop believing in that kind of thing, though, you know what I mean?
Sure indeed.
You create your own fate, see? Remind myself I'm only good as what my tapes be. Been rhyming over rhythms for a while, it's one take beat. Dialing up the FaceTime, the purest MC. Wildin' over here, surviving presidency. Lifestyle changes off of things we can't see. You all covered up, I'm unclothed, all free. Now I wanna come and lead, my son's the energy. Physical flaws testify the best breed. Intervals pause, time to keep it OG. My essence too deep, no sleep, too identical. Forgot unique, lost sight of the general. You hear crews and go to church all week. Rain fire over each one of these beats, no cheat. Hip-hop election here. Pro told me that my lyrics like the best of years. Say cheers.
Yeah, that there, that's my brother though. True fam, same vibe, different mother though. Sick for years, no tears, never suffered though. Immunity, split from the herd, we them buffalo. Y'all haven't heard, take the word, but discover though. Once Doctor and a beast come together, Mark Ruffalo. The upper glow, out the east, blow the cover though. And I ain't superstitious, but I'm bumping Stevie Wonder though. If we receive them keys like Khaled in the same keys of life, could we harmonize the ballads? Y'all know the skills from the superficial battling, but once we dig through the depths, it gets staggering. True swag is on the end, had to master it. The reciprocal superficials just masking it. See pro, then you see my glow. See crews each others, we them CEOs, my brother.
Man, that right there is a combination of Larry Vegas and Mitchell Drix. They co-collaborated on that, co-produced. Yeah, it was really cool, man, to have them come together, both from the same country. So that was even more special. And for the fact that I've known them for like 15 years, so they didn't know each other, which is crazy. I'm like, y'all don't know each other. You both working with me. You live right down the street from each other.
Yo, that's nuts.
All that way away.
I got to get a picture of the dry erase board up on the show later, or maybe you have one. You can share it later. But I have it. I have it in my thing. I was looking at that today. I'm like, yeah, that needs to be like the background. It looks like the FBI, like when they're plotting out like a whodunit. You know what I'm saying? It's like crazy, man. Like
I brought it to the I went from you got to go from the whiteboard to the notebook. I skipped the phone. So you could use a printer or whatever, but I like having that ink when it's like the final touches, adding the notes, get the pencil. I had the pen and the pencil out. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. You had the color coordinated joints. I keep a little one like here too. You know what I'm saying? Like a little write down or whatever. Just to kind of thoughts quickly or whatever. And I got the big ones on the other wall or whatever. But it's organization, man. People think putting out tracks is just all the artistry. There's a lot of the business side there, the organization, staying focused. When you're working on like 21 simultaneous tracks, and you're actually working on more. I mean, those are the ones we're going with, but it's like, and narrowing down. But it's like
organization. You can't have success without organization, right? I mean, there's no possible way to especially if you have features coming in and it's like, just trying to say, okay, let's focus on one record, get it at least to where it needs to be to move on to the next, get it where, and then,
Yeah, and that's how we kind of have it like everything everybody just heard. Those are not the final versions, People always, again, if you're just checking in on a ProQuo show, we tend to lift the veil. You know what I mean? We try to show you the process, show you what we're talking about in real life, and not really have a filter. As little filter as possible. You got to respect people's individual privacies and whatnot. But in terms of like, guests or things we talk about or whatever, we talk about the same stuff we be talking in the same way we be talking. You know what I mean? And 95% of the same way anyways, and that's a lot, trying to protect the innocent,
that 5% we don't let y'all hear.
Speaking of which, what was good for your week? Because this was hectic. We didn't talk as much on the everyday.
It was. Well, I mean, technically, we started our Sunday off with a beautiful birthday Zoom put together by your wife, Nicole. That was great.
That was very cool.
And I appreciate the invite.
I kind of had a feeling you were coming because I heard you like 2 days before when I said something.
Oh, you caught that?
Yeah, you were like, you do have a birthday coming up, and I was like, oh yeah, because I just threw that out for like a second.
I was like, yo, I figured. I wanted to actually bring it up, and I forgot. You remembered, but I was gonna say, yo, I did point it out just so you know something, but you figured it out.
Yeah, peace to all my Capricorns out there. Peace to them all. Even though. We can get into a whole discussion. I had you checking out Brian Greene videos earlier, the difference between astronomy and astrology. You know what I'm saying? But I lean a little bit more towards what's actually going on in space at the current moment, not so much what was happening when we were born. But that's just me. It's I'm looking forward, and I'm still considering all sciences. Yeah, we were talking about science today too, man.
Science and math, man.
Science and math tip.
Yo, science is crazy. I'm definitely an amateur, but I'm a scientist at the core. And it took till recent to really figure that out. And I'm like, man, how funny is it that I got the mathematician who definitely has his hands well endowed in science things. I'm like, man, I really. It made me happy. I'm like, I got to start my education back. And I don't need to go to school for it because I can get a seminar on YouTube.
That's it.
What?
It's funny. Remember we were talking about doing some math on the show? I was like, I don't want to bore people, but it was like, it's funny because in my day-to-day life, I was saying this to you too, is like people always talk about the math and they don't see the math with me on a day-to-day. You might hear glimpses of it in the music or whatever. But it's like generally it's really difficult to even carry on just regular conversations about the stuff, without either boring people or you know what I'm saying? Like it's like and it's you want to because it's like, yo, let me show you this amazing thing, whether it's science or whether it's
I see your math every day in your rhymes, bro. And then the flow. I mean that right there, that's cutting those words on those divides that may not be an equal. It may
Right.
be, you know what I'm saying? Where you going
Yeah.
down to the 163rds on that.
Yeah, man. Well, let's leave him. Let's not dig too much into the math because we will lose him. But
No,
speaking
no,
about
no.
this week, man, what else, man? What else was on tap? I mean, we saw what was going on in the world, man. How'd that
Yeah.
interfere in your world? Because I can tell you, DC is a
It
little
made
different.
me, yeah, I mean, for me, it was more of a, you know, paying attention more. I have to do because for the simple fact that my area allows me to kind of shut my eyes towards things because I don't like negativity at all. If I can
Yeah,
avoid it, I'm staying away from it.
yeah,
But I realize that that's not a good thing because you have to stay current in what's going on to
sure, yeah.
absorb it. And I have to feel the negative. You have to
Yeah,
absorb it. You know what I mean? So I did that, and it's it's just sad seeing what this world's coming into, but it's also eye opening because we're seeing things that we need to see.
mm,
We need to realize that this stuff is really existing and the parallels. Like, you know what I mean? When you have if you were to switch the melanin of the situation,
mm,
what would the difference have been? Drastic. If you would have put that on
absolutely.
some type of measurement,
Yeah,
the measurements would have been like 90-10
yeah.
of what the
But of
results were.
course,
So it's
you wouldn't have that switch in reality because that's sort of undergirding what this whole thing is about, right? People feeling like they're losing their competitive advantage or their unfair competitive advantage in the world. And
mm,
you could say lots of things about no, it's really about X, Y, and Z, but we've been known for a long time that when people of color become the majority, there's going to be problems in this country that has never really dealt with its racist heritage and
right.
its future, its present and its
Hmm.
past. So until those things get discussed and people want to bury their head in the sand, and you see how these things come back around, and they're right now. What's unfortunate is they're coming back around from those who are feeling the sand slip away. The changing of the guard,
Yeah.
metaphorically, but literally the changing of this guard is a signal of what we've always known. We've always known that the world is going to be majority brown and beige, very, very shortly.
Yeah.
In the
Wow. And you know
2040s,
what? And,
we know
and
it's
the other
coming.
thing too is I think being able to recognize the wolf
Hmm.
instead of seeing the sheep that's
Mm,
the wolf's underneath, you know what I'm saying?
right.
That whole thing is another eye opener because now all the people that you thought was one thing, they're the complete opposite. So all
Yeah.
that the mask wearing came off, like how
Yeah.
funny is
Right.
that? You
Literally
know?
too. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, like
And
came
that's
off.
the funny part. If they would have just wore their mask, they wouldn't have even been recognized as much. But
Come
being
on. Come
anti-maskers,
on, man.
anti-everything. And it's funny too because what you hit on is literally again, what is true about MLK and then this weekend, as we talk about it, it's like actually
Mm,
exposing it, right? Like if it wasn't for MLK marching and exposing how crazy and nuts people were, that people could see it on TV, literally like we're marching across a bridge and you're going to watch us get beaten, and to be literally willing to do that, it
mhm.
needed to be at that level. And the funny part is then because you didn't have quite the sensationalism of the whole fake news kind of thing, people believed it easier. They could see it and they could look and go, this is too far for at least some people, right? But
Mm,
now people can see it and they still can justify um, whatever their ideology is. And if you've watched 300 conspiracy videos on YouTube, it is
mm,
really hard to just say, you know what? You're right. Maybe there is no conspiracy, or maybe I was wrong, right? And just
yeah.
being able to, and when your leader doesn't say, you know what, maybe I was wrong, or can apologize or have any sign of empathy, nor will the followers. And I'm not trying to pin this 100% on just the figurehead because this swell has been there a long time before him. He's just leading the masses. And this particular thing, yeah, you can pin some serious blame, but the undergirding of this whole thing, I used that word twice, wow, um, is so evident of something that's been boiling below the surface for so long, and it was
Mm,
almost dying to come out. And I think we're now at a point where people can see with their own eyes, and it's still not moving the needle too much. It's still
right.
people can see this craziness, and the next day you can. It's like we go to our opposing corners, right? Go to the right wing news source or go to the more left news source, and in some cases it still is an echo chamber, right? So you're
Mm,
gonna hear what you want to hear, And then you can go to the comfort of your YouTube videos and find the news that you want to find that's custom tailored to you.
To
And,
you, exactly.
yeah.
And what's fact,
And-
what's fiction, we don't know.
Right. And our feeds in Facebook, as we know, are
Yeah.
predicated upon what our preferences are. So it's harder now, more so than ever. Social media is not helping in that way. So it's up to, some ways, shows like these, other people's shows, getting your information from varied sources that aren't just what's popping up on your immediate feed.
Exactly.
Hopefully
Right.
people are digging a little bit. So Casey Kale asked, what are we talking
People
about?
need to find that.
We were just reviewing the week, talking about the craziness. And, it's funny because this wasn't even this week, obviously, the stuff that's happening, but all the implications with the impeachment and so forth are just still spinning over from that crazy event in D.C. With me being out here, just dealing with students and dealing with the trauma that students continuously deal with, especially I'm at an HBCU at UDC, which is just that whole intersectionality comes into play. It's just people are being more affected, obviously, here than maybe in other spots. I'm in the comfort of being in Alexandria, Virginia, so it's not at my front door, unless I choose to make it at my front door. So there's some solace that way, but we had a lockdown that night, even in Alexandria. To put it into perspective for people in like Boston, like, we're both from the Ville, Somerville, indirectly,
Right.
and Cambridge.
Around
When
that
I
area.
moved from Cambridge to Somerville. Somerville to Boston is about the equivalent of Alexandria to DC, so it's like, that's the deal, and to put it in rough terms for people in our Boston audience, so, but we still had lockdown here, that's how crazy it was. And, and some other, places very close. So it's not, front doorstep as it was there, but what I'm speaking more to is just being in the circle of students, students and faculty. There was some good, I shared one. There was a podcast last night, not a podcast, excuse me, a live last night, where people were literally breaking down what's happening, right, in terms of the Capitol for higher ed and what higher ed reaction might need to be. And this was from a college out in San Diego. They were kind of leading the charge on this, and they speak about a lot of anti-racist pedagogy and things that you can do in your universities. But they actually did a deep dive into QAnon, and they said and they were and I was watching in real time. And I'm pretty up on it, you know what I'm saying, in terms of like all the beliefs and so forth. But I was watching in real time all the faculty that are just aghast, that had no idea, that this is going on. Because again, this is a fringe thing that if you're not in the know of that, you would have no idea of just how how shocking it is for the everyday person to actually read what's going on. So when you see the belief system of what's happening in QAnon, they are 100% convinced that this is a real thing. And everybody who's playing in quote unquote the real world is coming over and be like, no, this is not reality. You are being told this is real. And if you think about it for a few seconds, there's some ludicrous nature to it. Are there people that are doing awful things in the world? Sure. But is there an organized system that's actually running the government that Donald Trump is actually trying to overthrow on his lonesome? Like, that's what he's doing? Because it's just like, okay,
come on
whatever,
now.
So that's the divide. That's the divide right now. So it's not just brown or melanated and non-melanated. It's the whole, people. And there's a certain camp, obviously, that prescribes to that more. But so that's what's really making things real nuts. And
the only benefit to all this is that it's so highly visible now. And
yes, that's what I mean. Like, those faculty had no idea, dog. They had no idea. They're watching this. They're like, wait a minute. There were actually people there coming to try to have a mass execution. That's part of the literature. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to kill members of Congress who they believe are in this big cabal, and that's what they believe. So that's what they believe. So anyways, nuts times 2, what's going on. And living in a bubble is dangerous. Doesn't matter what side, Rhonda Green. I see you. And the security is gonna be insane. I'm reading what you guys are putting.
What's up, Rhonda?
What up, Kokimon? Koki's in the chat.
Oh, Koki, what's up, Koki? Big shout out to you, brother.
But I don't want to delay too much more. I want to use this show. Legends. Yeah, we got to use this show for what it is for, because the other half of it, even though we're going to hit you with some of these topics and hit you with the music, it is really about the release too. So it's about what people are doing, what they got going on, what people in our circle and our cipher have going on. And hopefully this is some respite for some people. I know it is for us. So we don't want to all be doom, gloom, and despair. We want to lift you up a little bit with some of the positive things that are going on and share some of these discussions with legends, luminaries.
Oh, yes, luminaries. Illuminate me.
And just regular people who are just good people that have come into our cipher. So if you're good people and you want to get on the show, make sure to hit us up. The ProQuo Show at gmail.com is how you can hit us up, or you can hit us up in either of our pages. Any other way to get you, Jay Cruz, or is that good?
Yeah, because as we know, the phone number's on there. But yeah, official J Cruz at gmail.com. But definitely go to the ProQuo Show at Gmail. That's going to be the best avenue to take.
Yeah.
Streamline things. We got to keep things organized, as we were talking about earlier.
Yes. We got
but yo, man, the rest of my week was beautiful, especially knowing who we got coming up here, man.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, you mean DJ Nomadik?
DJ Nomadik.
DJ Nomadik is in the bag. Yeah, we're going to bring her up. And by the way, for those of you checking us out too, we're going to have Dave Simon coming up a little later, who's
yes, sir,
does the show after us, does his own show, does part of Friday Night Live too. So he's a hoot. So we'll have him up in here too. He's a lot of fun. And
yeah, speaking of the holiday too, I think don't we have kind of a special record that actually kind of goes with the theme?
We do.
Somewhere on the corner that represents freedom.
We do. You know? We gotta play that later.
That's gonna happen. That's gonna happen later.
But right now, let's knock on the door and see if we can get DJ Nomadik to come up in the building and see what she's been up to. For those of y'all who haven't met her, you're in for a treat. All right, 1, 2, 3. Oh, knock. Oh, there she is.
Yo, she's here.
I'm here.
Welcome,
DJ Nomadik.
Hi. So I'm sitting back and I'm enjoying listening to your show. I was enjoying the music. It's been a while since I heard some good hip hop. So
thank you.
Even though it's not finished, it sounded good to me.
Appreciate
it. Thank you.
Jay Cruz right there, Nomadik. He was giving you some big praise earlier.
I know, I was blushing.
Yeah.
It really is. It's like, you know, to be able to sit here and talk with you, it's like, wow, you know, because like I said, 88.9 was my haven. I was getting, you know, mixtapes from New York and stuff, from Clue and Flex and all these guys. But, you know, to have that local station, you had to dial in real tight. And then as soon as you got it, it was so clean, tape worthy, and you was getting you guys played the best music that we could ask for. You know what I mean? So if it wasn't for you, like I said, Jay Cruz may not be who he is today. So blessings for that, yo, for real.
Thank you for the kind words.
Yes, you got a little bit of feedback on your side. I think it might be coming from your speakers or something. I'm not sure.
I'm actually on my phone, so let me.
Yeah.
We didn't do a little sound check earlier, so
we all our fault. But I don't know if you have any headphones back there. But if you don't,
it could be it could actually be. It is my head.
Also, my phone's a little jacked up right now, so.
Jay's got the super sensitive mic too.
That's what it is. My headphones, so it's picking off on my headphones.
Well, when I mute Nomadik though, it goes away, so it's coming back through on her.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right.
There we go. She's good.
There it is.
I found some headphones. Is that better?
Nice.
Oh, that's perfect.
Okay, good.
Way better.
Good, wonderful.
Speaking of lifting the veil, Nomadic's letting them know how disorganized we are. Like 2 minutes before the show goes, we're like, I switched computers. I was in as a guest, and I wasn't in controlling the show. And we normally have our producer, shout out to Big Don Juan behind us, but he's not in the building yet. So I was like, yo, I can't log in on this computer. I don't know the login info. So I had to switch back.
He was typing like 17,000 words a second. I'm like, yo, smoke coming off his damn.
So I don't know if you guys heard what I was saying, but I was definitely saying what a blessing it was to experience 88.9 at night. When I was a student at Emerson, I took full advantage of. I grew up on the reggae show and the hip hop show and R&B show, so to be on it, I definitely was a fan before I was on it, and that was back in the early 2000s, and it was I just was on as many shows as I could be, because I know you have to be a student to be on, so it was a limited time frame. So from then I was on 88.1 here in the Boston area. For those who just tuned in, I'm from Boston. But yeah, it was such a good time to be on it, because now, at least the scene here in Boston, I mean, music right now, live entertainment is dead, but the scene in Boston's so different than it was back then. So I really treasure those memories of those days being involved with the radio station and the live shows. So, it's a whole different world right now. So it was really, really enjoying listening to your unfinished music.
Appreciate it.
Good lyrical music. I know your name's lyrical, but I really appreciate lyrics and lyrical music.
Well, I'll tell you, I know you don't know Jay that well, but Jay is he's behind a lot of the organization that's going behind the scenes there. That board we're talking about is his. Like, he's organizing from, he gets all the beats from,
Amsterdam.
He's doing
right?
that work. He's doing the legwork. Put it that way, and he's doing
good stuff. Yeah, the beats were hot too. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
we got Amsterdam, France, Chicago, Boston.
Nice.
Yeah, we got it all over the place. But what's beautiful about it is the long-term relationships with the majority of these producers. So it's not like I just found them, which was really cool, because it's like, we've been waiting 15 years, some of us, to actually like come together and put work out. And it's finally coming to fruition, all the right pieces. Yeah, thank you very much. Like I said, you a piece of that puzzle. All the 89 people, man. They all a piece of that.
Well, now we're officially Facebook friends, and so we're gonna get to know each other real good. Yep.
Absolutely. How did you? I mean, you said a little bit of the history there, but what got you into it?
Well, I used to, back in the late 90s, and I know you mentioned I was a house head too. I've been a house head since like the mid 90s, maybe possibly even earlier than that. But hip hop, it's weird because culturally, I was born here, but my mother's from Jamaica and my father's Italian.
Right.
And neither of them were into music. I don't know where I got my love for soul music and hip hop music, but I just, anything that moves me, anything that has a message to send, really, no matter what genre of music, kind of pulled me in. Like, for those who don't know, a lot of house music is very uplifting and positive and happy. So that kind of drew me in. Hip hop, there's a lot of genres, subgenres within hip hop itself, but the music just moved me, and it was from the 80s on up, and I used to be like one of the few folks of color just being in the background at the Middle East, going to the shows in the late 90s, and no one even paid any attention to me. I was just a random chick in the background, because there wasn't even that many girls at these shows unless they were with their boyfriends or whatever.
Speak on it.
What did they used to say? They used to say sausage fest,
Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. Right into my mind. If anyone going to the Mideast always would say that. It was like, oh, gosh.
Yeah, so
back when you could smoke and people was just like a smoke-filled pot.
You walk, you go home smelling like smoke. And then, so I started on the radio, I think it was like 2000, and so then my life just changed. I was getting records and CDs thrown at me, and business cards, and it was a little overwhelming because I was used to like nobody really noticing me, and then all of a sudden it was on, so I got exposed a little bit to some, how industry worked, and wasn't really for me, but I learned a lot. I mean, what I studied at Emerson was marketing and PR, so that's still kind of what I'm doing right now.
So did you
for
know
myself.
Did you already know about like the station and then you wanted to DJ? Is that what you're saying?
I grew up listening. I was a fan for that and the other college stations in the area, because that's all we had. We had that and WIOD.
But is that what made you want to go though? Did you say, yo, I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna be a DJ, or did that just be like, oh, this would be cool after you were there?
I transferred in. I went to Leslie College first, and I transferred in, and I was a part-time student. I was a lot older than some of the other students and folks. Like, I kind of just blended in. So, but so it was a little like non-traditional.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. I grew up with it. I kind of knew the power of it. I mean, when I first started in 2000, it was voted Vibe's top 100 stations in the country. Right. And back then, the magazine The Vibe was really hot.
Yeah.
and radio stations were really hot still. So it was like, it was people often mistaken it for
Big
commercial station.
Yeah.
I mean, it had 4,000 watts. It was pretty out there, pretty big.
Really out there.
Yo, y'all were
Lowell,
reaching me in New Hampshire because when you came up, I graduated in 2001, right? So
yeah,
when I was listening to you, you was 2000, right? So I was in Londonderry, New Hampshire, getting the signal strong.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It was
But
pretty
the only
powerful.
reason why I knew to find you was because where I'm from, being from Mass, I
Yeah.
knew the look. But if you didn't know the look, I mean, unless you were going through the dials or whatever, but came in clear as day.
Yeah.
Nice. I love it. I used to get a lot of love from like the Lowell Lawrence area.
Right.
What do you call that area? The
Mill City?
Merrimack Valley? Is that what it's
Merrimack Valley.
Yeah.
Oh, the whole
So
area.
I
was thinking on Lowell.
Yeah. So I used to get like a lot of people listening, and 94.5 I think was the only other like real, sorry for those who aren't from Boston, they're like, what's she talking about? But
well, in Lowell we could get I mean, Lowell, we had our own station at Lowell, 91.5 WMUL well, and I DJ there as well too, but we would hear you. We would hear you. Fee, shout out to Fee. We would.
Yeah, big shout out to him. My Sagittarius representative. Yeah,
he just had a birthday too. Yeah, related to both of y'all. So Fee, I mean, he can correct me if I'm wrong later. I think he's listening too. But when we would go, he moved up to Nashua, in high school, and so I would trek up to his spot. And we could still get ERS from there, but not always.
That was powerful.
Wasn't perfect. Yeah, but parts of Lowell, there would be a little shaky. Depending if you were in the bricks, it'd be a little tougher. You know what I mean? But for the most part, we got it clear.
People don't know the struggle back in the day. We had to really search for these stations, but we knew when they were on and we tuned in. Like I said, I was a fan before. I used to listen to the reggae show heavy and the hip hop show and the R&B show, and so so like Miss Magali, who used to be on the Rocker show, we're actually really good friends right now.
Cool.
And but back then I was just a fan listening to her on the radio, so it was like I knew the power of it. I had to kind of pinch myself, like, oh, I'm on the radio.
Well,
I didn't want to take it for granted.
Who was she the one? Like who was on?
She was. Yeah, I mean, it was really nice when I started the hip hop and the reggae show. Really, like, we hung out together, we got along together. Shout out to Sarah Monesteem. We did.
Okay. Is that Will?
Yes. Yeah, no, not Will. That's Mike's Monesteem.
Okay.
Yeah, Mike. He used to work for like a promotional company. Now he's like running Central Square, Cambridge, basically. Okay. His wife was Miss Melodia. I think that was her radio name. She did the R&B. There was I think Phenom was still on. He did a reggae show. Right. Under hip hop, it was Begway, aka Optimus, was on. But yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. I know some. I know you have listeners in Boston, but I'm sorry for those who don't. We're just really having fun reminiscing over the Boston vibe.
Really, like as Jay's saying, it was even beyond that. It was all Massachusetts. I mean, we say Boston, we generally mean that, but I mean, we're getting New
England,
Rhode Island.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, and then up on that.
Yeah, and I wanted to say, as Facebook was growing, a lot of people would find me, like they would be in college, at Harvard or whatever college, and they would, find me on Facebook, and they were from Utah, or they moved back, or wherever they were from, and they were like, I listened to you on the radio, and I was just like, me,
Yeah. And that's why we say Luminary. We're not kidding. Like what you did and what some others there did. They were blazing a trail for people who come up as MCs and artists later who looked at you guys, because that's why I was interested in your college thing too, because it's like they would pick their college. They weren't telling their parents that all the time, but they're like, yo, I want to go to Boston because the hip hop scene is crazy.
Oh yeah,
for real.
Yeah, Emerson College, definitely people went because of the radio station.
100%.
A lot of people went and they moved on, like Cherry Martinez, who was I don't know if she's still in New York, but she was a very well-known artist. DJ on the radio, and she was on with Joshua Blood, who used to do a reggae show. She used to come on after her, and she really like blew up after she left. So you know, so it, you know,
She blew up while she
people.
was there too.
Yeah, that's true.
Set herself
She was
up
very
nice.
popular.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and you know, it's a different
And you
different
came in,
scene
like,
than it
right
is now.
about, like, I mean, you started doing
Right
your own
after.
show like right after that. Yeah, I remember that
Mhm.
because she was in there. And you know, it's funny with one of our first singles there. Like we kind like she might have played it like once or twice, but really probably didn't
Mhm.
know us that well. And then that
Yeah.
next generation who came in that you were part of, that's who we knew so well. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
was that probably like 97-ish?
Yeah, maybe even a
Yeah.
little later. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think I was
98.
like, I used to visit with on Optimus's show.
Right.
Monday Night Raw was his show.
Yo, Monday
And
Night Raw.
and
Butter
and
Messenger
that's
was
where
definitely playing that.
Yeah,
and that's
Butter
where I
Messenger.
met Billy Fee
There it is.
and
You
the
played
lovely
that.
Ruby.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I did. I played many of your songs. And
Didn't y'all have Big L
I
step
played
up
many.
there and kick?
Yeah, probably not on my night, but
Not on your night, yeah.
we had a lot. I wish I did, you know. But we had, you know, some pretty big names strolling on through, especially on the reggae side. But the hip hop side, once 94.5 got a little more popular, they shifted over to the commercial radio, or they would say they were coming, but they would go there first. So, but back when I first started, it was nice because I used to bring in my own crates of music.
Yeah.
And I was,
She
you
called that
know,
nice. I remember those
and
tight little stairs in the ERS, man. It was like navigating someone's house. It was like a brownstone
I know.
house.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
Yeah.
It was definitely an experience that like I'll always treasure and remember. And people still, I think I live in Malden, Mass, and I was going for a walk on the bike path, and somebody like yelled out my name, and then the next second on Facebook they were like, I just saw you walking the bike path, I remember you from ERS. And I was like, wow, people still remember me. It's been like
I can only
it's been like over 10 years.
I can only imagine for you as a DJ, because just as an artist having records played occasionally, I mean, the impact of ERS, I mean, I can tell you that from all the records that I've had, most people, when they say that, when they go, yo, they're like, they meet you or whatever, and they'll quote something or they'll say something, and ERS comes back into it when you were there, you know, whether it was Live Music Week or whether, I heard your record on a Tuesday, and they can tell you who was playing it. Like,
people were serious.
Yeah, so
ERS gave definition of underground hip hop.
Yeah, it was powerful, and
yeah,
I'm just glad to have my piece in history there. You know what I mean?
Now you said you slid to 88.1, and so 88.1 as just to set it for people. WMBR. Shout out to Jamiz too, who I know.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say.
But WMBR, we would come down from Lowell, and it had less wattage, maybe about 1,000 watts. I want to say.
Yes, 1,000. Yeah.
Yeah, and we could start picking that up though, like 3 miles into the drive. I mean, we could get it kind of staticky, and if you said it just right, we could hear it even from JUL. I mean, we would listen to see who was on or whatever. We could just about catch it there, so we would listen to 88.1 while we could. Until maybe it faded out if we went the wrong way or whatever.
Right.
It was back and forth between 88.9 and 88.1. So that's
yes.
That's
and
MIT.
Yes, I mean the thing is that I could continue on there because they had both students and community members there, so you didn't have to be a student, but you clearly kind of knew who was a student at MIT and the person that wanted to be on the radio, because it was like the community members had more personality, so to speak, but they weren't always that like computer savvy. So there was this guy who did an electronic show after me, and he's a really cool guy. Electronic Max was his name. He did techno music, and he used to talk. He didn't want to talk because he was so shy, but he used to talk. When he went to talk, he talked in robot voice to his computer. So it was like, but it was it was just the dynamics between the MIT students and the actual like community members. Like some people like PJ Porter was there doing the slow jams for like decades. So a lot of the community members definitely stuck around for a long time. So it was a little different coming from WRS was a little more geared towards um, promoting personalities or creating like on-air personalities, whereas like it was a little more chill. I mean, Jamiz kind of always had like a little commercial flair to him, which was nice. He's very skilled DJ.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I'm thankful. So altogether, I was on the radio for like 12 years. So I miss it. I miss it though sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to Connecticut School of Broadcast and I did that whole thing. Got the certificate. And I was like, I don't really want to do this. I thought about it, but at the end of the day, I basically I didn't do anything with it. I learned that I was decent with engineering.
You never know.
You don't.
Yo,
and yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, that's how you meet some of your aces in life, man. It's like sometimes it's that college experience, but it's not so much because of your class. It's because of the radio stations and these extracurricular things. And it's like, I mean, Jamiz, as you know, Nomadik, he's my ace, and like I met him. Me and Fee met him just literally listening to him on the radio, driving down, and he was kind of an understudy at that time too. You know, and so when we first met him, he was kind of just starting to get his own show. You know, I wouldn't have met Ski and later Jay-Z if it wasn't for him. I met Ski there,
right?
And, when they had him as a guest down there, and you know what I mean. So it's like it's crazy the things that happen, who you meet, and you think. I'm sure if you were to sit back and recount all the people that you've met in this industry just through radio alone, it's got to be.
Yes, when I think about who I interviewed, either over the phone or in person, I mean, it's just like, wow. A lot of times I tried not to be shook, like, oh my God. Well, it's like, to what you were saying though, like a lot of friendships came out of it, like lasting friendships, like Brother J of X Clan, I still consider a friend.
Absolutely.
I am still a member of the J Dilla Foundation. I'm the New England representative. I just want to mention too, February is pretty much J Dilla month, and Dillatroit, which I've actually been to in Detroit, is happening February 7th at 8 p.m. and it's live streamed.
So
that's
on
cool.
DetroitRap.com. DetroitRap.com is live streaming it this year, so it's pretty awesome. And when I went to the show in New York, I met Fife. Fife was performing. Yeah. And I think who was DJing? Premier, was Pete Rock there? I think Pete Rock's brother was hosting. But it's like, it's shout out to Ma Dukes, and it's really, and I don't know how I became I don't know how it happened, but it's just making what y'all were talking about earlier, Cruz, when you were mentioning about making lasting relationships. I think I had a chance meeting with Ma Dukes, Jay Dilla's mom, and beautiful woman she is. I mean, I never thought the opportunities would come forward where I would be as close as I am with them and their family, and
that's crazy.
The opportunities presented. I really wanted. I did a few tributes to J Dilla, in Boston, and it's about time for another big one. So I hope to do one soon.
I did a tribute record for him. I
nice.
I don't think I ever released it, but he I found
very
this
inspirational.
Manny Fresh, he was like completely inspired by J Dilla, and this dude his name was Manny Fresh. It wasn't a real one, but from New Zealand, and he was making beats that just was so reminiscent, kind of really focused on him, but one in particular was like that tribute. Like you still here with us because you changed lives, man, for real with the music.
Seriously,
man, and
I gotta hear that one.
Amazing.
Yeah, so I just
that's somewhere in the depths.
Yes, I just got that information, so I thought I would share it with folks because now everyone can. I'm not sure who the special guest this time, but I met I don't know if Adia Davenport from Brand New Heavies. Actually, I went to the Dilla tribute in DC too, a few years back as well. That was pretty interesting. Yeah,
Drez is doing he's doing a whole tribute album. Well, not a tribute album. He's doing an album with his actual productions, co-signed off by his mom. So
wow,
that's crazy. So Drez is pumped. I mean, that's gonna be the biggest event of his life.
Yeah. That's good that she gave blessing.
Yeah.
Because
Dres
many
is
years, and I
overwhelmed, you know.
yeah, and I could say from being, close with the family, a lot of people take advantage, a lot of people do a lot of rogue things, and
Yeah.
they're pretty much on top of it. Like,
Yes. I'm
they
sure.
want to
I'm
make
sure.
sure that Jay Dilla's name's respected, and
Yo, I
it's always
obviously
good to get their blessing.
it's weird for me with the whole Jay Dilla thing because I didn't know who he was till he almost died. I really was
Yeah,
not aware.
a lot of
Like,
people.
yeah, it was
Hmm.
crazy because I knew all the tracks. I
Hmm.
mean,
Yeah,
at that
yeah,
time, obviously
yeah.
by the time, sort of like the Slum Village sensation started to
Right.
come into play. I mean, everybody kind of knew, but I was kind of late on that bus. And then when I found out
Hmm.
the back catalogs, I couldn't believe it. I
Mind
was just like,
blown. Yeah,
yo, like that's
mind
why
Serious.
something
blown.
like a Drez thing with is so perfect because he's so much
Right.
in that vein. It's just so perfect, and
Yeah,
he would have missed the most of the Jay Dilla bus too in terms of having
yeah.
a chance to do being too early. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
getting to do
Yeah,
at least when he first came out. So that's crazy.
Mhm.
Yo, I wanted
yeah.
to ask you some other stuff too, just to switch gears.
Sure.
So a lot of people don't know that wouldn't that don't necessarily know the behind the scenes of Boston hip hop, but don't know
Right.
that you're also a promoter and event planner.
Right.
So how did that come up? I mean, I certainly know, right? But how did that
Yeah.
having worn
Yeah.
that hat,
Sure, sure. Yes,
mhm.
yes. It's not an easy hat to wear, but
Not a hat I love to wear, but one we I feel like I had to do. And what's
yes.
your thing on that though?
Well, it's like kind of crazy but fun at the same time.
Okay.
I mean, it's just, it's crazy because there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that folks don't know when things are being planned and prepared, even if it's something as simple as an open mic or a show that might seem very basic. There's a lot of behind the scenes for those who
Preach.
don't know. And right now it's very tough for events and venues and any type of entertainment or bar scenes not happening. So a lot of DJs are, DJing live online when they can, either through Twitch or whatever
Right.
platform they use. I've done it a few times. It's a little different for me.
Yep.
But it's like, so as far as event planner goes, I kind of, so when I graduated from Emerson, I taught myself how to DJ on turntables on vinyl,
Mhm.
and took me a while to save up and get my own turntables. I had to pass up a lot of gigs, which I hated. I had to,
Yeah. Because
um,
you had the name and people probably wanted you, and it was like,
yes, I
yeah,
just I wasn't
have
there
your
with
own
the
equipment.
equipment.
Yep.
Yes, and so from there, I got familiar in DJing in clubs, and that was a whole different experience because DJing on the radio, as you guys know, the podcast, like you're sending, people can message you, which is awesome, but you're sending the message out there, you're communicating, I hope someone's listening, I hope someone's feeling me.
Right.
But like having DJing in front of people is such a wonderful experience when you play the music and they give you that energy back, and then you give it back to them. It's just that cycle is really an amazing thing to experience. So when I started DJing live in front of people, I'm like, whoa, this is amazing. So so for me, there was a lot having supported and gone to a lot of hip hop events before I got on the radio. I had opportunity where, like, okay, I'm connected to venues, I'm connected to artists, like, let me try to make some events, or maybe some things that I felt that was like lacking in the scene, that might have been a little different. I said, whatever, I'm just going to go for it. So it turned into doing a lot of events. At one point I was doing like multiple events a month. I mean, most of them were small scale, but some of them were larger. And so actually right now, I don't know if it's okay for me to talk about my new venture.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Come on,
it
girl.
goes with,
Wait a minute.
it goes with
is that micro? You tell him.
Okay, I'll tell him. So as I was saying, it's kind of rough for the typical DJ part. I used to, before this happened, actually a few days before the lockdown in Boston, I had the final open mic. I was doing like a monthly open mic, and Lyrical, you've attended and performed and done poetry and comedy and all this other stuff. So
Yep.
and rapping, of course. And Yeah, but that's the thing. It was a platform where it was like all kinds of entertainment can come through. So I did that once a month, and it was just like a labor of love. I wasn't really making money off it. It's just a place where folks can gather and have fun and connect. Like I love connecting people. So anyway, the new venture I'm getting into is called Eventcore. Like my DJ company is called Soulcore. And Eventcore is something that me and a colleague of mine, Brian Arrington, is starting along with couple other partners. And what we're doing is we're going to provide a service of what's needed right now, because a lot of folks are getting married, and they're getting married and it's very strange for them, because it's like hey, you can only have a certain number of people in a place or something like that. So we created this company to produce micro weddings, or to work with those getting married to produce micro weddings, and one-stop shop, basically, like a smaller scale down from like 2 to 25 people in various venues that we have connected with. And then when weather gets nice again, we'll also do it in some parks and other areas. So we're really excited about this. And not only does it like fill the void of, because it sparked from my partner, Brian, when he was talking with some folks who wanted to get married 10, 10, 20 in Mexico. Like that was their dream. And obviously they couldn't do it at the time. And so they just like got married somewhere random, and it was just like mad random and not really eventful. So we don't want somebody's like wedding day to be uneventful. So, I'm really excited to kind of move from, because I can't, DJing club nights or planning out club nights right now is not the thing. So we're moving into this. And also when we can, we'll do larger scale weddings and other events. It's not just that.
Well, those club nights are coming. They're going to come.
They're going to come.
They're going to come back. And I think people.
I know.
But what I was going to say, though,
I hope so.
I think people who were pushing the envelope in terms of like a micro wedding kind of event planning or whatever are going to be in good stead for when the full scale ones come back as well.
Yes.
Too, because
yes,
it's
exactly.
it's keeping yourself relevant in a difficult time, creative time to be. I mean, you have to find it's like hip hop. You're just making it happen. And that's so big ups to you for launching that.
Thank you.
No doubt. One thing I was going to say about that too is, from teaching, I flipped into, at the same time I was doing a lot of event planning, which I never wanted. Like you called it fun. I never looked at it like fun. I looked at it like a chore, but
right.
My group, when I was doing the invasion thing, they'd look at me and they'd be like, "Why are you trying to promote these shows?" And I was like, "I'm not trying to promote these shows. Are finding me." You know what I mean? People would be like, "Yo, you brought in 20 people or whatever. How about you do this, every week and grow it or something, or 50 people or whatever, and so people were dying, like you said, starving to just have a way to get people in their club, and a way to flip that. And what I noticed is I was teaching at the same time, kind of on the low, not everybody knew, whatever, but I got in through my hustle was I waited till there was an article sort of like front page in like the Globe or something, and I would show it to the schools, and I'd be like, "Oh, you don't have an opening? Well, Jay and I talk about this now. How about one for, like, I'm trying to do this music promotion stuff. I know you got a course for it." And what they started having me teach first, when they would say, "Oh, wow, this dude's in the paper. Maybe he'll be good to have, right?"
Somebody thought he was newsworthy, right?
Yeah, but they threw me into event planning classes because I was like,
"Oh my gosh,
hip hop courses." I was like, "I want to teach hip hop," and they were like, "Slow down, Tiger. Why don't you do some music production promotion courses? We don't really have that hip hop thing." And then eventually it turned into the hip hop stuff.
So
my thing is, you could flip this now to schools. You know what I'm saying? If you aren't already, and whether it's classes, courses, or just sort of someone who comes in as an expert, especially on Zooms now, and come in and speak about how to do this for people that are looking to do it too, if you're not already looking that way. But I would just encourage you like on that side.
Yeah, the sky's the limit. I mean, we get really excited. And like I said, we're getting ready to launch. So we're getting really excited just in the process. Like it just makes sense that where we are at in each other's lives and the experience, like you talk about like how things lead to the other, like the experiences in our lives, like, like Cruz was mentioning how like, hey, I got this degree. Like, it's just like, okay, you might not know at that time, but I mean, I've had so many random jobs in my life, and
Yeah.
a lot of them,
Have you
a lot of
taught at
them,
all?
it's like, I need this, huh?
Have you taught
Have I
ever?
what?
Have you ever taught?
No, I've been asked to, but
I
I'm
was
a
gonna
little
say
shy.
because you have the right personality for it. You know what I mean? You have the
I've spoken at various events and been on panels and stuff like
yeah.
that,
Oh,
but I
know
haven't
you have.
taken the leap. I actually was asked to teach DJing classes, and
Wow.
I just felt like I wasn't ready yet. I don't know. Maybe you can
Wow.
help me with that,
Yo,
Lyric.
timing is everything. And I'll tell you what,
I
Lyric will be the
taught
one.
DJ in class, and I didn't know what I was doing. I taught for Somerville for the projects.
But
in
I love
Somerville.
how
They were
you.
like, yo.
I love how you just you just do things and you make it happen. Like you've always been like that, which is
You know
pretty
what
awesome.
though? Only not like I said, not because I wanted to or anything, just because like, if you're doing an art form, right? If you're doing an art form and the opportunities aren't there for the city that you live in, I mean, why not try to promote a show? Like if J. Crew's a new artist coming out, right? Why not take the crowd that you have and turn it into some kind of weekly, monthly, semi-monthly kind of thing and build a foundation?
Yeah.
I just always thought that made a lot of sense. And people wanted to just, so you know what they would preach though? They preach in business school and they preach in, even the courses I would teach, and I'd be like, nah, slow down. People be like, well, we have to have our publishing in order and we have to have our copyrights, and everyone wants to be so technical. It's like, dog, just go throw the show, just go put it out there.
Put your hands
Just
in the
do
mud.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, a lot of times I didn't know what I was doing. Like you just kind of figure it out as you go along, and it's part of it's being a risk taker and kind of, because I've had successes and I've had failures and everything in between. But like it's
For real.
I like to. I mean, most of my successful parties were just fun. Just like, hey, let me throw a Michael Jackson tribute. Okay, like
Yep.
And that was one of my most successful parties.
That's dope.
Just so you know, right? Lyrical.
What do you say?
Yeah. No, just so you know, I don't know if you're aware, like, remember the Milky Way? I was there for so long. It's gone now. Did you know that?
I did. Yeah.
Did you know it was gone? Yeah.
I did know it was gone. Yeah.
So
what was that? Just a club?
Icon.
It was a venue where I spent a long time with, and it's just because the coronavirus.
In all of its manifestations.
Yeah. So, but that's the thing. A lot of like restaurants are going out of business, and it's just crazy,
Yeah.
So like you said, you gotta like, I mean, who knew when hip hop first came out? Like it was gonna be. I just had a conversation again with a good friend of mine, Tony Tone from Coke Crush Brothers.
Oh, wow.
And me and him used to talk like every day. Like he's a hilarious guy, by the way. Used to make me laugh all the time. But he's just talk about legends. I mean, he
just casually drops it. Oh, yeah,
just dropping
it.
No, but speaking of legends, like he's very humble dude, knowledgeable. But he like just I mean, he was like wild style, like Cold Crush. Like it's just like. And who knew from like back then, how it would turn. I mean, it's a tool people learn. Like every commercial you listen to is hip hop on the TV. It's just
taking over. The culture's like
out of control.
The most
everywhere.
powerful it's ever been.
Absolutely.
And kids can't remember. Well, maybe Lyrical, you're a teacher, but a lot of young kids, like they can't remember things too well, but they'll know a song. They'll remember by music.
That's been my entire career in higher ed. You know what I mean? It's been based off of that principle. And people will always ask to be like, yo, how do you do the hip hop thing in the class, and and I'm like, I don't really do that much hip hop in the class, but if you've ever used music to try to memorize anything,
right,
I mean, it goes so far. Even my notes, like I'll make notes, right? I'll take like a standard, like a bunch of notes, and I'll put like a rhyme around it. It would be my own rhyme, and it would be like, here's the calc formula, and I'll just put, like, I'm not like rapping in class like that, but they'll literally remember the rhyme, and then they'll remember, oh, that's how you solve a derivative. You know what I'm saying? And that's even when we don't even put it to music. Well, it's just the rhyme. So when you put words to a beat, it's like, come on now, it's insane, and it always works. It's not like, oh, it's sometimes, no, it always works. Kids walk
it's
around
the child, it's the reality, because nursery rhymes is where it all starts, right? I mean, my daughter, that's how, And that's what's beautiful about the hip hop. I mean, music in general, but hip hop in particular, because it's
Yes.
that rhythm and poetry and the melody. And
Right.
come on, man, we have so much
Speaking of
power
melody,
now.
shout out to Ruby and Shabazz over there.
Shout out,
Ruby.
yeah,
You
shout out to
her, man.
everybody. No, shout out to Mike,
Big
shout out to Fee.
Yeah.
Big fan
Shout
of
out to
Ruby
Fee.
and big fan of Fee.
Fee, I want to know if Fee and Ruby are watching on separate like devices. Are y'all on the same device? Are y'all looking over each other? Or y'all in different rooms? I don't know how y'all do this because I got Bill
They
Fee
are-
on one and
they-
Bill B on the other. That's kind of
I met both of them on Optimus Monday Night Raw show that we were talking about on
Word.
WRS. And I didn't have my own show yet, so they didn't know who the heck I was. But I was just like, wow, they're amazing. And it's just so cool that we remain friends. And
Yeah.
I always try to catch when I could catch their shows in Nashua, but I always had something going on.
They were doing
But they're so
hella
talented.
shows. Let me put it clear. So the manifestation of what they've done from One Love to Ruby taking a little bit more of a front woman role, you know, even though she always was. I mean, when Ruby was singing on our tracks, we were like, "Yo, this is fire!" And then Ruby came into her own.
amazing,
She was real shy and she's still a sort of a shy person, but she's like a tiger now comparatively. And so she does.
She's
her own thing.
amazing.
So
Yeah.
it's Ruby and the rhythm. You know what I'm saying? So Ruby's out front now. Fee plays drums.
Yeah.
For Ruby and the rhythm now. A lot of people didn't know Fee was a drummer, and he plays on the sit down drum, and they got the super surprise. Fee's a rapper. For some of their crowd doesn't even know Fee raps. You know what I'm saying? So it's like crazy. Got the secret weapon in the back, but they were doing crazy shows up in their spot, and COVID has definitely hit a lot of people.
I know.
Ways. Yeah,
I know Ruby. I did a virtual open mic, and Ruby attended. That's the last time we interacted. And I really like at least then, I don't know if she's moved on to a different thing, but she was moving into dance music, like kind of 90s vibe, and it was awesome. It just was so her. So I hope she's still doing it or moved on to something else. I mean, she's just a amazing, talented, and she really takes her art serious, but yet she looks like she's having so much fun, and it's just what she's born to do, which is lovely. I'm so glad she's still doing a thing.
Without happiness, we are nothing.
Check them out soon. We're gonna have Fee up here pretty soon. We'll try to get Ruby up as well too. But we'll
I'll be tuning in then.
A little bit more when they get something. We always try to get people up when they have something to promote or something to talk about as well. Too,
yeah.
So. And especially
well, thanks for taking me too. Yeah, thanks for taking me, because I know, like I was supposed to. You invited me on a couple weeks back, so thanks for having me. Number one.
Dope.
And we didn't even really talk about what to promote. I'm just here and we're just talking.
Nah, that's dope. Yo, if you want to hang, we're gonna bring our man Dave Simon up in here. Dave's I don't know if you want to hang. You definitely hang with us.
Yeah, I'm
actually he's gonna love that old school hip hop stuff.
I actually got to step off, jump off, but I will listen.
Cool. Yeah.
If anything, I'll call in or go in the chat or something.
Nah,
so let me make way for your next guest, and please, if you'll have me back, I wanted to talk about Doom, but we'll save that another day.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Big shout out to
I'm really upset about that. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yo, that's speaking of old school, man, I remember when he first came out. Well, it was that third base stuff came out. I was like, who's this dude? That dude was so fresh,
KMD, right?
KMD was like, who is this dude?
But, and I just want to say his record sales jumped 870%, I think.
Oh, I didn't.
Because people are like, who is this? But yeah, I just saw an article on Google about it. But yeah, it's like they're probably like, who is this guy in a mask? Like, people probably just like, who is this guy? But anyways, I don't want to take up too much time, but I just want to say thank you so much. This has been so much fun. I'm still going to be listening.
Thank you. Again, thank you for hopping on.
We
will be having you back for sure on the ProQuo Show.
Oh, that's a blessing.
By the way,
thank
anytime you want to call through, I mean, we give you the code. You can jump up. If there's a conversation you want to jump in and you're watching, we always say that to our guests.
And next time you might have to come up there with the unofficial sponsor of a little bit of that V8. We coming up with that V8. You know what I'm saying? Staying healthy with the healthy greens. You know what I'm saying?
Nomadik. We'll get you out of here. All right.
Thank you. It's been fun. Thank you guys. Bye.
Anytime.
Take care.
Peace out, girl.
Bye.
Good talking.
Yo, that was crazy having her.
That was really cool, man.
Yeah, absolutely. That's some cool stuff. I mean, flipping into that that little niche right there with the little micro weddings. I mean, have you even heard? Did you ever hear that term before? Micro weddings?
No.
Dog, I was
That's
teaching
incredible.
event planning and weddings and stuff like that. I never heard of micro. You know, it's not even a term that's on my radar. But it
again,
makes sense, you know?
COVID created that thought process,
Yeah,
right?
man. Yep.
The story she heard. This
speaking of-
couple looking to get married, they can't
It's
do it. Oh
crazy.
no, bum out.
I know. There's other old student of mine is doing the same thing. He's DJing. He's DJing these online events. Shout out to Prince, man. My man Prince. He's doing crazy stuff. Nigeria represent. But anyways, we got to get Dave Simon up in here. So who's the sponsor, man? What'd you say? We got V8. V8's the unofficial official sponsor.
Yo, the Caribbean one is crazy dope. But this right here is just good. This is healthy greens. I drank it like within 3 days. I'm drinking the whole thing.
So this is something that you've been doing for a long time, or is this just something you just came into? Because I never even I'm not V8 hip like that.
I was doing it like 6 months ago and I stopped, but now I'm back on. Like I've been eating clean this whole month, like real clean. No wheat, no yeast, vegetables and protein and high nutrition, low calorie. You know what I mean? But this is a great thing to implement in there, and it's tasty and it's definitely good for you. It's got antioxidants and all that stuff.
Dope, man. Dope. Yo, I didn't get the unofficial banner up there, but you know that is the official sponsor of the night. But I did throw the HipHopCitizen up there too, because part of the HipHopCitizen fam is in the building. So let's bring him in. Let's knock on that door.
Yo, knock.
I think he's there. What up, man?
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
What's up, Dave?
Yo, my man. Thank you for
Thank
coming
you for having me.
Absolutely, my brother. HipHopCitizen, one of the pioneers right here.
Oh, that's a dubious claim, my friend. I'm just a mere extra added on ingredient to what was already stirring in a pot.
Stirring in the pot. Yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
How you living, man?
Hey, what can I say? These are strange times, and each day they get weirder. So I'm just keeping my head level.
Absolutely. Now, where are you out of, man? Where are you out of? Oh, I see
I'm
it
Brooklyn.
right there on the tag. You in Brooklyn right now?
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's correct.
Got you. Because I saw in the bio that you originally from Brooklyn, so that's crazy, man. So I didn't realize you were still there. That's dope. When you guys are doing your show, when you guys are doing your show, your feel is so like it feels like you're all together. Like honestly, like your show. When I was on there, I was saying, yo, I know they're not in the same place, obviously with COVID or whatever, but you guys, it was cohesive enough the first time I saw it to be like, yo, this actually seems like they're all in the same room. So we had no idea where everybody was from. You know what I'm saying? So dope.
Yeah, that's why I posted in my tag or in the bio with the show Brooklyn as well. And I would suggest the guest as well to do it and the co-host of the show. But you know, I'm not one to offer suggestions. But I do want individuals to know where I'm from.
You're still learning, brother.
Dope,
it's
man.
good. This is good information, good insight.
Yeah.
Oh, well then, if you're taking suggestions,
allow
me.
Okay, buddy. Go for it.
Give us 5, man.
I really enjoyed the guest that you have, but the show seems low. It's like I'm not hearing it.
Oh, our levels? Oh, all right.
Yes.
Well, good.
You want to pump them up. I think a good voice, boisterous voice. That's good. That's good.
That's better.
Oh,
much better.
All right.
Well, how about me? How about mine?
You've been even keel. I like yours.
Okay.
See,
cool.
I just think Quo was in the mud.
Got you. We didn't have the producer extraordinaire behind the scenes the whole time. You know what I mean? So we're flying. We got a little Don Juan a little late to the party for today. So when we have him, I mean, he usually can, you know, make it smooth. We're not experts like that yet, but we can really. I try to run stuff behind the scenes, but I'm like, man, you should have seen me, dog. I had 2 computers going. I was switching the lines out because I didn't even know how to have the access backstage on this other. I just got a new computer, man. So you know, first world problems, but it was like, yo, I can't even hook it up. But yeah, man, dope. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
With one critique, I'll give you one compliment.
All right.
I love the way that you guys switch the screens. That's very professional of you, Pro.
Okay. Well, I got to give shout out to Don Juan too, because
Teach
I
you
didn't
that.
even know that you could switch the screens for like the longest time. I was like, he hops right in as soon as he's in, boom, the screen starts switching and everything like that. So yeah, I've been trying to just copy him, man, and figure out like stuff like this. Like I didn't even know how to do that for the first 2 shows. I was like, oh yeah, you can do that. Like and I don't change them half the time. I'm like, it
But I'll
says
tell
the
you what,
wrong
this
thing.
platform compared to Zoom is like light years ahead. But from what I can
Yeah.
just tell from, plug in and play type thing. Because our Zooms are cool, but this is like, you get all the extras in it. It's makes it special.
Yeah,
The
there's more and more
banners running.
platforms like this coming up.
Yeah, yeah.
But yo, Dave, let's talk about your show, man. So what's the deal with it?
Yeah.
What's the deal with your show?
Well, according to the Grandmaster Don Juan, as you spoke of earlier, we are in our approaching our 50th episode. We've been going for about a year, so we're looking at an anniversary. I mean, there's only 52 weeks in a year, so we're looking at an anniversary coming up.
Absolutely.
And maybe we're planning something, a special show, have some guys that came by and started out with us, helped us get started. The guests, that was I can't even put in words how important and paramount it was. Once we started getting guests, the audience started to generate, and we began to garner some sort of momentum with the podcast. Friday Night Live coming up next.
Yes, sir. I know. So I work every Saturday morning, and I was tuning in. I'm like, yo, I got to stay up 20, 30 minutes more just to watch these boys go. And the chemistry is great, man. The subject, I like the whole show is great, man. And it's a blessing to be able to be associated with this on the HipHopCitizen Network, because I love that name, as I've said before in other episodes. That name is just so true. And yeah, man, it's a interesting thing, man. So
Jay decides
congratulations on the 50 coming up.
Jay decides if he wants to do a show like some of your friends will decide if they want a car. Like, what color is it? You know what I'm saying? Jay's like, I love the name. I'm in. You know what I'm saying? Jay was sold day one. He was like, hip hop.
As soon as I heard it, bro. As soon as I heard it,
I was like, it's the name.
I've never been told I'm much watch.
You've never
that
been
is
told
the best compliment I ever received.
You never been told what?
Say what?
I must watch. I'm must watch TV.
You a must watch TV.
Must watch TV. There you go.
So now y'all have crazy different personalities. So, and to me, you seem more of the comic relief on there. Is that by design, or is that just your personality, or?
I consider myself a very serious person. What are you saying to me?
I'm sure you are, man. I'm sure you are. But you also...
well, you know what? I believe that with these podcasts is we do 2 hours, right? And like my man Mr. Cruz said, that he likes to check it out because he likes to get a little levity in his life during his before he has to go and slave for the master Saturday morning. And that's what I try to do. I try to offer the levity in those 2 hours so no one gets bored, for one, and they're able to get the information.
Dope.
Right.
Dope.
Yeah, and I mean, the info, and what's cool too is how many, like when I was watching with, everything happening in DC and how you guys were all talking to different points and everything. That was great, seeing the viewpoints being so different but still coming together at the end. And because I like to hear that kind of stuff, being open-minded to things where, I was talking earlier. I said, look, my location, I don't have to deal with it. My kids don't have to deal with it. My fiance don't have to deal with this. So I could shut it out easy. But that's a problem, because now you start doing this, you know what I mean? And you have to look at it. You got to experience some of that pain. And, after this last thing, man, I was like, damn, this turmoil is no good. It's all good. It's good to be seen. But, when I went to Virginia back in the days, and I thought from being from the East Coast, this kind of stuff doesn't exist. And then I see it existing in the forefront in Virginia, Chesapeake. I see some KKK marches, like real life event. I was like, yo, I thought this was in the history books. This is still existing. So, something like this to happen and open everybody's eyes to say, yo, this is still here. It's a serious issue,
And see, the thing about it is the hate mongering that it takes to become a Klans member was spread with our president, unfortunately, with his rhetoric about building a wall, and people didn't frown or make him lose the election and elect Clinton. They voted him in office, so they thought that it was the right thing to do. And last Wednesday, the 6th of January, the riot at the Capitol was just a epiphany. The
epitome.
What would you say? What would you say, Professor?
I said the epitome.
What would be the word I'm looking for? The epitome.
That was Quo hit you.
Yes. Okay. Of all of that building up, it finally reached its pinnacle point.
Yeah, dog.
Yeah, man. It's like that boiling point on high. Go ahead, Pro.
No, I was gonna say I would also add into that topic is that it was we were hitting on this early. You might have heard. I'm not sure if you heard the beginning, but conspiracy theory at the same time. And I say this as a recovering conspiracy theorist, is that, you know, the conspiracy theory that was out there about Hillary and the Clintons and the cabals and the pedophile rings and all this kind of stuff didn't help, because she became the scapegoat, easy to hate person. And granted, you know, she wasn't my perfect candidate, but in a landslide, I would have voted for her over Trump. And I remember saying this with family, friends, or whatever. I'm like, nah, I'm not voting for Hillary just because she's going to be the first woman or whatever, though I do think a woman as president makes a lot of sense. I think you look at a lot of CEOs of companies, the ones that succeed well, a lot of times it's a female lead, and I don't think that's coincidence. But I would say
as well as leaders of countries.
Yeah, that's absolutely. We see it, right? You see Angela Merkel out there. You see, I mean, there's more examples we can get. We can go back in history and see this too. This isn't so recent as it is here. But my point being, if you're going to throw out conspiracy theory at the same time and the vitriol with racism that's out there in our country's long history, it's a perfect storm with the advent of the internet. You can literally push anything you want across, and people will believe a slick produced video that actually is designed by a right-wing, think tank in some cases, or just a loner who's trying to sell you ammunition, for instance, right? In the same cheesy produced videos. And it's like, Doug, you really think this is the secret? Like, this person right here has the secret 411 that nobody else does? And this is like some factual claim that's going on right here, and people will spit it and regurgitate it because 20 more videos will come up just like it that are putting you in the cult. And then you're going to become the ostracized member of your family, your friends, and all of a sudden, Dave's a conspiracy theorist, right? Because you go down that bunny trail, and then you're ready to march on Capitol Hill. We should
all know it's easy. What's good and what's bad is what it boils down to, and you either good or you bad. Simple and plain. And you said it too. I was listening where I left off. You were saying whoever was there was on that side. Whether no matter what you like, if you went, you were there. And I agreed with you because I'm like, your mind's telling you to go somewhere. You're going to protest against what's happening, or you look, if you going out your way to go to this, you're going to be a supporter of this cause no matter what. And I kind of agree with what you were saying on that, Dave, on the show, the last episode you had, because it makes sense. Well,
at a certain point when they were saying the Antifa and Black Lives Matter was rioting in the streets, there were protesters that actually separated themselves. There was a watershed, so to speak, and they detached themselves from whatever the protesters that were rioting decided to do against what they were trying to do of a nonviolent peace movement. Rest in peace, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So when those protesters for the, I guess it was Save the Election or pro-Trump or Stop the Steal, whatever they were there for, or however, when it got violent or got unruly, they were supposed to watershed themselves then away from the violence. And whoever was photographed inside of the Capitol was considered a terrorist to me. And they were there to do destruction and terrorize and ruin the democracy we stand for.
Yeah, Fox News has the post of the only liberal person who was in the entire crowd. They're like, look, we got someone who's down with Antifa. You know, they found this dude, a person of color, right, who basically their argument was they were sneaking in to try to be on the other side. You know, I don't know here nor there, but leave it to Fox to find the one person of color in the crowd, right, who they're now going to say is an Antifa. You know, this dude's not Antifa, though, but whatever the case, right, they're always going to find that counter narrative to throw on the page out of the thousands of people who look the way they look, right, and stand for what they stand for. They will find the one exception, which has always been the blueprint of the white people handbook to, or the white racist media company handbook to find propagate the lone
propaganda.
Yeah, absolutely. The lone example that's to the contrary. You know, always find someone, lead them into the pulpit and have them up there speaking and be like, look, we give a different view and narrative that we can throw on Fox for 2 minutes for sound bites. And it's just, people just feed into it. It's crazy. So that will be the story that you hear.
It's crazy, it's right.
For people, and they won't address the fact that there were thousands of other people there. They'll talk about this one person, you know what I'm saying? But it's a shame, man.
So the transition real quick, Dave, what you listening to today, man? Who's your ear talking to or listening to? What's speaking to you?
That's a very good question. That is a very good question. Let me tell you, because as I professed in 2020, it was all Little Baby and the Baby, and I don't want to seem redundant, so I would like to Fabio Foreign, I believe his name is. I've enjoyed what he's done.
I haven't heard of Fabio.
Me either.
Oh, he's the one that's bow, 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 bow.
Oh,
really? And all of his music.
Okay, yeah.
That might be a little ghetto for the professor.
Yeah. Well, now I know.
Right.
I'm bad with names, though.
And CJ, he does whoopty.
CJ.
Unfortunately, we lost talent, and Pop Smoke, who is dominating the airwaves.
Yeah.
And
crazy, right?
King Von, who he has a hit now.
Yep.
Lurking.
He's posthumous hits, man. Crazy. I mean, Pop Smoke is addictive. You know what I'm saying? You listen to Pop Smoke, you be listening to Pop Smoke all day. You know, it's a shame that we find out. I mean, he was just at that bubbling spot right before it happened. Man. You know what I mean? And it's
everything lining up.
It's hard to even quantify. You know, the shootings and just like. It's music, you know. It's supposed to be an outlet, you know, and people like beefing over table scraps, and sometimes too, because you know what people still aren't seeing is the whole behind the scenes. As you know, Dave, you know, having a little bit ear to the industry, it's just like, especially in Brooklyn too. You probably can hear about this a little bit more firsthand. People are fighting, man, to even open up at a show. You know what I'm saying? To play for free in a lot of cases, and then you get to this next level where people are supposedly making that heavy coin. It isn't all. It's a lot of smoke and mirrors, and a lot of times this stuff is over imaging and posturing and posing and trying to look a certain way, and sometimes there's real legitimate stuff that goes on. But to see people lose their lives over essentially music, it just seems trivial at best. And
well, I don't think I can't say for sure with the King Von and Quando Rondo.
Yeah.
Situation,
right?
But Pop Smoke, it seemed like it was just a senseless L.A. homicide
at the wrong time. Yeah.
I mean, they're literally robbing the Hollywood Hills out there. So you know, he was just a victim of circumstances.
Yep. And now that everybody's seen, you know, all the videos that you can watch on the internet. Yeah, you're right. I mean, you can watch, you know, video 1, video 2, video 3, get a different angle, see what's going down, and go, okay, maybe this is more than just hip hop in certain situations. But my point being is that when we start, you know, hearing of artists through their deaths, you know what I'm saying? We're actually, I mean, Pop Smoke wasn't proliferated like that until after the death, you know. Same thing for Vaughn.
Wayne said that. He was like, yo, you ain't ish until somebody kills you. Right?
I mean, you think about
Biggie said that first,
but you think about Biggie and Tupac.
Exactly.
They certainly were massive. You know what I'm saying? They were on the top shelf in the peaks of their career. So I mean,
on the precipice.
Yeah. I mean, oh, absolutely. Oh, I think Tupac was in the prime of his career. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And,
yes.
and Biggie was definitely a little bit more precipice. But in terms of, as you know, being in Brooklyn, I mean, people been knowing about Biggie for 10 years.
No,
before
I apologize. I thought you was talking about the King Von and
yeah, no doubt,
Pop Smoke.
Yeah.
But Biggie and Tupac was actual stars,
Pinnacles.
celebrities.
Yeah.
Right.
And so now though, I guess maybe because there's more people in the game, you know, it's now, and it's easy to hear people's music immediately with the rise of the internet. You know, somebody would die before and you just wouldn't hear their music. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like, oh, a rapper died and you never heard of the rapper, you know, and you're never going to hear the rapper. Now a rapper dies and it's like a PR campaign, you know, and you always wonder about that. Like, who's making that coin off of this stuff? You know, like, is that going to the family? And even when Biggie died, everyone was wondering about that. And it didn't look like it. It didn't look like that money really went to Biggie's moms like that, you know, like in the way that it should have, you know. We see it with all kinds of artists, you know. You see that in a lot of other groups that have come and have had fallen soldiers as well. You're like, well, the money wasn't really there. Even with Big Pun, I mean, it was like, the money wasn't really there, you know. So, and that was natural causes.
His son, I mean, his son got all messed up from that too, right? I mean, I know his son's rapping, but they struggled big time when they shouldn't have. You know, it's crazy.
So
man.
the artist when. Yes, shout out to my co-host Dialect 718. I'll see you in about a half.
Yeah.
And the money that an artist garnered now. Now the question is, would Puffy be a billionaire if Biggie was still alive? You know what I'm saying? There are
that's all they go on about is Puffy, fucking big fucking DIG, you know that. How he's all keeping anyway. What he's up to?
What's up, brother?
I don't know who that was.
I don't either. What's up, man?
Maybe Don Juan knows. I'm not sure.
I don't even know what he was talking about.
Yeah, I didn't hear him clearly, but shout out to my man British B. Looks like his name is. But,
he was saying something about Biggie.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. But yeah,
okay.
I missed that last point though.
Oh, I was just saying that I missed the last point now. I was throwing off completely.
The whole session. Woo.
British B, hit us with the comment, man.
Tell us what's up.
British B was up in the living room.
What I was saying was, would Puffy be a billionaire if Biggie was still alive? Like, there's questions that would arise if Notorious B.I.G. would have lived.
Just
would Jay-Z be a billionaire?
Record, how much money is he still making off that record too that he released after?
Oof.
Oh, with Jay-Z, Bill, that's
a big question, man. I don't know, man. That's a good thought, man. See, that's why you up here, man. I wouldn't have even thought to ask that question, but it makes some sense.
I think he would have, just because Jay is, from what I can understand, is just so business minded. You know, I think he would have had a good fighting chance. But you're right. Come on, without Big, I mean,
yeah, it did clear the lane.
For real.
Yeah. But
so when you guys do a sponsor, or
yeah,
are you guys cashing in on that?
You mean Pure Protein Bar?
No, this is the unofficial.
This is unofficial sponsors, man. This is just manifesting the dream.
Yeah,
mate. Oh, okay.
I'm just a football hooligan. You got me. Yeah, but Biggie Smalls, mate. That's my favourite song in the world. Your remix, Biggie Smalls with Michael Jackson. It's my favourite song in the world. I'm sorry, I'm a football hooligan. That's how I've got teeth missing and shit like that. But Biggie Smalls, check that song out. I'll play it now for you. Biggie Smalls versus Michael Jackson, the remix. What a fucking tune. Billie Jean, mate, is a fucking song, mate. Know what I mean?
Wow.
Okay. I like that song as well.
I think I know that one. Yeah.
I
remember when that came on.
The Brooklyn crew represent all the freaky bitches. You know what I mean? Yeah, but that's what it comes down to. Tupac and B.I.G. Which side are you? For the conspiracy theories.
Hey, British B.
So deep. What? Yes.
What are you smoking?
It's just a roll up, mate. Just a roll up. Smoking tobacco.
Oh, I don't the unofficial sponsor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
another sponsor. So
unofficial.
I just drink, mate. I'll show you, mate. 2 seconds, I'll finish it.
Are you calling us?
I just drink vodka.
Are you calling us from Great Britain, or are you here in the States?
Yeah, I'm in Scotland.
Oh,
I'm in Scotland, mate.
Right.
And I drink some cider, mate. Getting pissed, mate. That's where I'll play Scotland, aye. Not right.
Cheerio, mate.
There you go,
Oh,
brother.
that's fucking English. That
was the wrong one,
old.
man.
Do you want a cup of fucking tea, mate? Ah, fucking Breitbart, lad.
So who's popping in Scotland right now, British B? Since you
Fucking
jumped
empty,
into
mate.
our set.
No, dude, mate. Just fucking, so just locked down, mate. So just fucking tea, fucking vibes and shit like that. So just locked down, just getting pissed in the house.
I actually can't really hear you that well. And plus
Yeah,
your
it's a
accent
little
is
different.
making it a little tough, man. Say that a little bit.
Sorry, I speak too fast. I'll try and speak properly.
It's all good.
You got me.
Hey, man.
So when you say
ahead,
football, you're not talking about the Cleveland Browns.
Nah.
No, mate. No. We don't go about. We fucking wearing pads, mate. We play rugby. You got me, lad. We don't need pads.
When we say you never know who's going to stop by the ProQuo Show, we really mean it. You know,
Yeah.
no one was expecting British B.
Oh, that old chestnut eye.
No one was expecting British B.
Yeah, so hold up, but to go back to Dave's little
God
thing,
bless
there,
the
so,
queen.
yo, the whole thing is what you put into the atmosphere, right? It's like that karma coming back, and what you ask. It says it in the Bible: "Ask and thou shalt receive." So what we do is we asking, yo, V8, we the unofficial, most official sponsor, V8. So we got this all recorded and stuff, and then when we get enough clips, we'll put it all together and we'll plug Cheez-Its and we'll plug V8
and we'll plug
and we'll plug Lifesavers and we'll say, yo, you gonna sponsor us or what?
That's
it.
It's all future. It's future sponsors, man. It's future. So don't be fooled, man. These are pro bono, ProQuo, no show sponsors. Right? That's what they are. It's all day, man. Hey, you gotta manifest the dream, baby. Gotta manifest.
Absolutely, I'm learning as well.
I mean, you can just have a board and you can write your sponsor on there, like who you want to come into existence. You got to put it out there in the ether and see what happens. You know,
absolutely.
That's how we do it, man. That's how we do. When we have our first one, though, we'll let everybody know. But we got to do some legwork to make that happen because the ProQuo Show really happens on Friday. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
it's really not happening on many other days. We'll tell you that.
Right. I have subliminally made a product placement as well in our podcast. If I'm eating Popeyes or Bed-Stuy fish fry, or I'll mention Juice for Life over there and Bed-Stuy as well. Companies that I consider, small businesses, I would also mention to get them out there and let people know that they're out there so that they can support it. And you guys, you're bigger brand than I am, but I dig what you're doing.
Come on, man. We just following your lead, man. We just doing.
That's it.
That's it.
You the parent company, yo.
No, I'm an employee just like you guys.
Oh, okay. So we all equals right here. We all equals.
It's cool. Okay. God bless. You're better than me.
Yeah, but and that's a good point too. I was we were first starting to do we were on Zoom and we were doing the unofficial sponsorships, and I started to pull out business cards that I collected, right? So I'm like, let's shout out the local businesses, the tire shop, the mechanic, you know what I mean? Because you don't know. You get on a local station and do a little commercial for them. Throw some music in the backdrop of the commercial, especially these auto people, man. Do a little, little vibe for them. You don't know. But until you ask, you don't know if you're gonna receive, right? Reap what you sow.
Right. Well said.
Start sowing.
Well said.
Yeah. Yo, what's up with that Freedom Corner? I think Dave needed to hear Freedom Corner, especially with the holiday we have coming up this weekend. Such a monumental day to set off the month of February.
We wanted to make sure that we acknowledge MLK Day and funny story.
They celebrate in VA?
Yeah, man. Funny story, man. Tell you a place they weren't celebrating, right? Let's throw this out in Jay's now home state, right? Out in NH, right? So my birthday is January 10th, right? So when I was little,
happy belated birthday.
Thanks, man. My grandmother would take me out for my own special little day, and it would always be on MLK Day because we, of course, being in Massachusetts, I was in Lowell schools and Chelmsford schools, we would have it off, right? And New Hampshire didn't celebrate yet. And so we would go to the movies, we'd go to the mall, whatever, But this was in the day when, you know, stores were closed and stuff like that. They were a little bit more strict back in the day, right? So we would literally go over the border to racist New Hampshire and be able to go to like the movies and do whatever, you know, while everything else was shut down in Massachusetts. So that's my crazy MLK. I used to ask my grandmother when I was little, I'd be like, why are these open? She'd be like, they're racist. I'm like, okay. And we're buying their stuff. But yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I'm not sure. I think they voted for Trump this time as well.
Yeah, it's a little bit more of an even split. I think
definitely
close up there.
The last series of events turned a lot of people sour on him, which was, you know, worked out for our benefit. And again, one last shout out to Scotland and our homeboy British B for popping up on the show. Absolutely. He's actually he was the first caller to call in, so we gotta applaud that. British B from Scotland, the first caller on the show, and we should have many more.
How many shows you guys got in the can?
This is 6, I want to say.
Sounds about 6. Right.
Sounds right.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, we're gonna start structuring it, and we're not really counting.
I don't even know where the audio is I'm trying to play. So when we speak about structure, I'm playing. Literally, Jay sent me a copy of this, like an updated one, and I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds today, dope. Right? But I'm like,
so this record,
in the thing yet.
This record actually produced from my homeboy. Actually, I don't know the producer's name, but the record label's Freedom Corner, and they out of Mississippi, and this whole record is really just based around that brotherhood that we had when we first met, and we got his artist that's on his label. He ends the verse. His name's Yahweh. He was on our show, and it's a really, really dope record, man.
I don't know if
shout out to. I thought I wrote that producer's name down. You didn't put it in the collection yet. I don't think.
That's the problem. Yeah, because it's not the collection.
Oh, he lost it.
Faded us.
I believe so. So anyway, that's the song. So Dave,
what's the name of the song?
It's called Freedom Corner. But
Freedom Corner.
Yeah. So how it worked is that, like when COVID started, I started to kind of come out the shell. You know what I mean? And I've been creating music a long time, since I was 7, and recording since I was like 13 to 12, 13. And you know, I always just recorded, made records. I didn't do many shows and all that. And I moved around a lot as a kid. And then I got married young, and she was an R&B singer. And we stayed in that confinement where it was like, yo, we did like 2 shows in the 10 years we were together, but we made a lot of records. So I kind of lived my career that way, where it was like, you know, forget the shows, forget the videos. Let's just make music. But it was all in the closet. Ain't nobody, you know what I mean? It's still in the crates. So COVID kicked up, and it was like, the opportunity where I saw all these superstars at the same level, like they're shooting videos with their iPhone, they're doing these live Zooms, like the playing field was set. So it kind of just gave a paradigm shift for me to say, you know what, let me, oh wait, he's coming up with something. Here we go. That paradigm shift to come out the box and, you know, start really taking it serious on the whole sphere of it all. You know what I mean? From videos to marketing to business and all that. And then, of course, you know, me and Pro started talking, and he just kind of elevated the belief in myself and educated me on what we could do. So now we're doing it, you know, putting it into action. So
you're an MC?
That's correct. Yes. MC.
And it's hip hop.
Yeah. Hip hop, ride or die, man. It's the culture.
Oh, we got to get you on the show.
Oh, you know it. I can't wait. You know, and the funny thing about it too is that, you know, that's why I love the name of this HipHopCitizen show, is that it's all one family united. And when I was growing up, you know, being melanin deprived and all that, like that was in the beginning, it seemed like, damn, how am I gonna fit in, even though I got these skills. And now it's the way that time is moving. And the brothers that I have grown up with and the life experiences I've had, it's just shown me that we all, if you dig hip hop, you part of the culture. Where you fit in, that's the question. You know what I mean? And especially as an MC, where are you coming from? Like, are you speaking authentically? Are you good? Are you bad? So I try to really hone myself and be a better person myself, so I can always my lyricism will speak good. and goodness. And that's what I want to project. The light, the cruise, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's all relative to me.
Well, we've been fortunate we've been fortunate this second season to have a theme song. We like to open, segue in the middle, and end the show with Architect 7. He did a hot song for the show, and we play it throughout the show. And you heard it?
Yeah, I heard, because that's what you intro with. So I was like, yo, this dude, he's spitting, he's nice, man. He's real.
And
nice.
I was just wondering why you and Pro haven't done something similar.
Yeah, well, you know, and I guess that it's more or less along the lines of we're trying to get an album complete. You know, we got 24 records that we put together over the past month, and we're putting the backbone of it together. So once we get that all set up, we have a theme song that we've been running with. But I like how we pinpointed towards the hip hop citizen, the culture. You know, in reality, is all the music that we create is branding that, but it's not necessarily saying that, you know, exact brand hip hop citizen, which I liked, you know, and I was like, damn, we kind of have to, that would be a good intro theme. But when you hear the music that we are putting together, it's really on that level. It's unity, it's brotherhood. The whole project's name is Instant Brotherhood, you know, so it's really
very nice.
About, coming together. You know what I mean? And I think, Pro, you still having technical difficulties over there, brother?
Give me a sec.
Oh, he's almost there. Okay, cool. Just a second.
Dave's got to jump in a minute, but yeah, give me a sec. I should be good.
Yes. I have to build my station.
Build it up, brother. But yeah, you got to hear the song before you jet, though.
Yes. I'm here for that. Definitely.
But yeah, so that's the whole philosophy, Instant Brotherhood, and how, you know, sometimes you just got to go with what your gut tells you and what your heart tells you. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. That's what hip hop is all about. It's inner desire to, you know, want to be heard and understood, and a society that sometimes ostracize those that are unique.
All right, so you got the
and
track
I think that's phenomenal that you guys are actually working together on a project, because it shows that you're dedicated to more than just a podcast or clout chasing.
Yeah. And I mean, what's great with like lyrical, you know what I mean? His verses are just so red line, you know? Like he said it best. He's like, Jay, you kind of just lay the turf and I just snipe. You know what I mean? Set up the board and he snipes. So it's like theme music. It's pro steps the whole level up, man, for real.
You know, you guys could always add that song onto the HipHopCitizen page.
Yeah, this is still none of this is all backbone. No, I can't hear it yet.
All right.
This is what we do is we like Pro likes to say, you know, unveil. It's authentic. We're showing you the whole process from the beat. Even we'll play just the beat that we're considering, and then like show a verse. So people that have been watching the podcast, they'll actually see the progress that we've made on Freedom Corner, because they're saying, yo, I just mixed this today, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Freedom Corner. Yeah. Let's make it known, you know what I mean? How you feeling, how you doing though? Instrumental hit the studio. Truly more than making music, so fan first, stand firm for that Freedom Pro. Plans work, we immerse with the jury though. Yeah, how you feeling, how you doing though? Instrumental hit the studio. Truly more than making music, so fan first, stand firm, what you doing, quote. I'm on the corner free riding with my clique in them. Before Atlanta, Mississippi hit the map off of discipline. Disciples at the table thinking labels made it Timberlands. Recycled off the majors, quarantine, I'm in the crib again. Playing daddy, school teacher, and a hooligan. I'm on salary, not married, but I'm rooting man. The Queen cheers, so it's cheers, bottles moving in. That's weekdays, long nights, videos all Peruvian. A big dream texturized on the podium. Reflect the vibes, hope you feel what I sow in them. We on books, former crooks, tall castles, no linoleum. It's no church, but I preach on this flow we in. The temple is my mental, so the soul is detrimental. When I hit the instrumental with the pen, don't use a pencil. You understand the code, so conversion is eventual. Know the virgin, I'm essential. How you doing, though? Instrumental hit the studio. Truly more than making music, so fan first, stand firm for that freedom quote. Plans work, we immerse with the jury, though. Yeah, how you feeling, how you doing, though?
Feeling good.
Instrumental hit the studio. Truly more than making music, so fan first, stand firm.
Listen, you can place me in the verses with these rappers this high, and I will place them in these hearses in the back of a box. Got a catalog that stretches like a jack in a box. Underground, I am legend, the original plot. Thought provoking how I'm poking and be stoking the flames. Freedom riding on some Stokey before he changed his name. Changing the game, my whole education was lame. Mega average, no one ever even mentioned his name. Martin neither, even him barely a quarter of a page. We learned nothing about that corner where that freedom was laid. A shame. Now many corners where there's MLKs. Boulevards grilling hard, still things ain't changed. Is we supposed to leave the hood or is we supposed to refrain? Trying to play the Eric Spoelstra era post King James. Spit flames, how we handle that heat. Gripping that rosary while getting our Romari on doing it how it's supposed to be.
How you feeling, how you doing, though? Instrumental hit the studio. Truly more than making music, so fan
Who is that?
stand firm for that freedom, yo. Plans work, we immerse with the jury, though.
That's
Yeah.
me.
How you feeling, how you doing, though?
Quo was first,
Instrumental hit the
Pro was
studio.
second.
Truly more than
Okay.
making music, so fan
And now here
first,
comes the
stand
God,
firm.
Yahweh.
Forever lives Yahweh. Freedom corner, free from the corner. About to get it poppin' like corn, it's a warmer. Had the ultimatum like my name chasing porn, but changed up my life cause it was jail at the corner. My life is like a movie, I ain't talking Time Warner. Spirit got me speaking different language like a foreigner. Yeah, cold summers and the winters getting warmer, so I'm really out of pocket like a young Kurt Warner. I warned you, only judge a book by its chapters. Pistol that he pistol for them pistols leaving captive. That melanin is gold, so I'm knowing what they after. You only live twice, so I'm living for the afterlife. All Christ don't need him being subliminal. The way I'm killing beats, you would think they ought to be criminal. New era, but no Kevin. I got that bag in the intervals and it's blessings on blessings. Gotta know that harvest is plentiful.
How you feeling, how you doing, though? Instrumental hit the studio.
Okay, I like what you guys are doing.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
I
Thank you.
swear to God, nobody on that track looked like you guys.
Sound like or look like?
Well, what I'm the
You can
image that
find
I
me with
get
these
from
rappers
the
in the back of
voices.
the box, right?
I know, it's crazy.
Take it
Yeah,
down
who
to
said that?
You can place me in the verses with these rappers this high, and I will place them in these. That was me.
That was gangster, man.
Hey man, do what
Yo,
I
the
can.
knowledge. I love how he paint like that. You know, he said the right things, man. Talking about Eggers, talking about the MLK. That's the whole Freedom Corner joint. And then what's beautiful is that we ended with a dude that's from Mississippi on the Freedom Corner label, and I love that record, man.
And that dude's a Christian rapper, by the way.
Yeah, you would have
That last dude.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Great elements there to come up with that nice material.
Thanks, dialect. Yeah, we got honestly, when I listen to it, even in its rough versions, when I listen to all the tracks, it's on par to be with something that if you just handed it to me, I would say this is something that I would bump every day. You know what I mean? And obviously we're biased to our own stuff that we're making, but I think that's key for artists out there to make the music you want to hear, not to necessarily try to, we got some songs that are a little bit more, I don't know, you call them, whatever you want to call them, a little bit more now, I suppose. But most of the tracks, I mean, we're going through selecting tracks that speak to us, and when you grab stuff that speaks to you, it's easy to write. Jay and I write real quick. We told you that on our show, talking about how fast we write, but you write only because you're selecting things that speak to your soul.
Hey, don't be putting me. Look at Dave. I'm not look at. I'm an engineer.
I know you're going.
Yeah, exactly. Pro, like he can write. He's a master lyricist. I'm
Thanks,
more
man.
of like
That's
a
big from you.
poetic. It was facts though. I'm a poetic type of dude. Like I don't freestyle much. I mean, I freestyle when I write, but I get inspired by the beat. But when comparative to like other MCs out there, like Pro's that gem.
We got to get Dave out of here, man. Dave's got
yeah,
show to start.
yeah.
Man,
Hey, let's say peace out though, and Dave.
See how I threw that shade? I threw that spotlight the other way. Yeah, man. Dave,
what we're gonna do is I'm gonna come back in a few weeks, and we're gonna discuss what you guys got going on there and talk some beats. Matter of fact, we're gonna have Cruz on the show. I'm gonna make that happen.
J. Cruz.
So brother. I'll be there. You know it.
God bless you for having me.
You better make him right. You better make him write something quick, like you made me do, man.
That's why
I didn't make you. I didn't make you.
Don't do it.
Unfortunately, you didn't get the warning that I'm giving him now.
That's right. That's right.
Have a 16 ready for me.
Yeah,
appreciate that, Jay. Jay's got a few 16 ready.
Exactly. See.
Take care, fellas. Thank you.
Man.
Thanks tonight on the show, man. Thanks for coming through.
Thanks everybody coming through, dropping comments, and calling in British B. Shout out again. One.
Yeah, check them all out, yo. Keep watching. Check out HipHopCitizen. They're going live now, and we're going off. Peace, y'all.